2.5 billion people use Facebook every month. That makes it the ultimate outlet for anyone trying to spread a message to the world. But the company's facing a backlash from advertisers for inadequate policing of misleading content and posts that incite violence. The World Federation of Advertisers, a trade body whose members make up 90% of global ad spending, says many of the biggest brands are signing out.
Especially given regulatory worries, this has really come at the wrong time. And I think investors have started to factor that risk in. It's all really going to be, it's a watershed moment. It's how Zuckerberg and Facebook handle this going forward to see if this wildfire spreads.
Microsoft, Unilever, Ford, Adidas, and Coca-Cola are among dozens of companies boycotting the social media giant. Last year, more than 98% of Facebook's earnings came from ads, and the brand exodus is spooking some investors. But Facebook is making some changes. Newsworthy articles are being highlighted, users are being sent warning notifications about posts containing unverified information, and the company is limiting the number of times such posts can be forwarded on WhatsApp.
There's no newsworthy exemption to content that incites violence or suppresses voting. Even if a politician or government official says it, if we determine that content may lead to violence or deprive people of their right to vote, we're going to take that content down, no matter who says it.
But the spread of COVID-19 is restricting politicians from holding public rallies and other events. They're turning to social media to lure voters.
This is the most unusual campaign, I think, in modern history. In that, but I start off with the premise, Mike, that I'm going to follow the doc's orders, not just for me, but for the country. And that means that I am not going to be holding rallies.
Joe Biden's campaign has already spent $27 million on Facebook ads. President Donald Trump's re-election bid has brought in another $37 million for the social media giant, and more than 3/4 of its ad revenues come from small and medium businesses. That means Facebook will keep selling ads even without the big brands. And as unpopular as its content policy may be, it won't make much difference to the company's bottom line. Mubin Nasir, TRT World.
Well, for more on this, Nandini Jami joins us from Washington, D.C. She's the co-founder of Sleeping Giants, which is one of the organisations that organised the campaign to boycott Facebook. And in Hong Kong, we're joined by Greg Paul, the co-founder of the marketing consultancy firm R3 Worldwide. Welcome to the program to both of you. But Nandini, if I could start with you. It's been barely 2 weeks since you and 5 other organisations launched the Stop Hate for Profit campaign, which was calling on businesses to pull their advertising from Facebook for the month of July. Tell us more about what you hope to achieve.
Really, we hope to achieve 3 things. We want to see accountability coming in from Facebook. We want to see them acting more decently towards citizens around the world, and we want them to be offering support to Facebook users. And by that I mean we think that Facebook should be accountable to advertisers who deserve a safe place to advertise. We think they should be accountable to users who deserve a safe place to hang out and chat with their friends. And we think that we all deserve a safe world with access to facts and reality and reliable information so that we can all live in a safe democracy.
Now, some of the big corporations, the world's biggest corporations, in fact, have joined your campaign, including Coca-Cola, Starbucks, Unilever, and Diageo. Did you ever imagine that you would gain so much support for your campaign in such little time?
This has been a surprise to all of us. But at the same time, we're thrilled to have large corporations flexing their muscle as some of the biggest companies in the world, and using that to say, you know, we want to stamp out hate speech from our ad buy. I think that's going to be a really powerful statement moving forward. And I think a lot of these companies are starting to look at alternative ways to advertise and to connect with their audience that doesn't involve propping up one of the most sort of hateful, dangerous platforms in the world. So that's really encouraging.
Excellent. Now, Greg, as we heard from the story there, the World Federation of Advertisers says almost a third of the world's biggest brands will suspend spending on social media or are likely to do so. How big of a blow is this for sites such as Facebook, Twitter and Snapchat?
Yeah, look, I think what's been achieved in a couple of weeks has been absolutely unprecedented. We've never seen anything like this in the history of advertising and media. So, credit to everybody that's been involved. I think the challenge with Facebook is they have 8 million customers. So, this group probably represents less than 20% of their total revenue. They have an extremely long tail. If this was done on Fox News, for example, there'd be no more advertising whatsoever. But on Facebook, it's the small businesses that are sort of propping up the company to some extent. So, even today, the share price is up 8%. So it suggests that it may not have as huge a share impact as first thought.
Interesting. Now, Nandini, in the wake of your campaign, Facebook co-founder and CEO Mark Zuckerberg, as we heard in the story, he's pledged to change its policies on hate speech and voter suppression. He says the site would now label posts that are potentially harmful and even in violation of its platform's policies. But he says some posts might not be taken down altogether if they're deemed newsworthy. Has Facebook done enough, in your view, to address your concerns?
No, absolutely not. They've had years to take down racism, hate, and fake news from their platform, and they have simply chosen not to, even in the face of civil rights organizations doing a lot of the groundwork, identifying it for them, flagging it for them, and almost even begging for them to take down that type of content. It literally, the platform supported and facilitated genocide of the Rohingya people in Myanmar. So for us, I think that we don't think that this is going far enough. They're just sort of doing the basics that they should have been doing in the first place, and they have a lot of catching up to do.
Greg, there's still no question that Facebook has a reach that traditional media simply dream about. So I think the latest figures I saw, there are around 2.6 billion monthly active users. Instagram, which as we know is also owned by Facebook, also has a significant reach. How important are these platforms for companies and advertisers?
Yeah, look, the reality is that Facebook's been able to offer a very effective cost per thousand, or CPM as it's called, to advertisers, and that's what's attracted a lot of attention. But I do think this period is going to cause for a lot of experimentation with other areas, such as Snapchat, such as other influencer-led media, such as TikTok. So I think there's going to be a lot more experimentation from marketers, and that may well lead to a lot of long-term shifts in budgets away from Facebook and its other ancillary media.
Okay, and Nandini, we know that your campaign has called for a boycott of Facebook just for the month of July. But given, I guess, the concerns that you have and the fact that you say the company hasn't done enough yet to address your concerns, would you perhaps anticipate extending this campaign or calling for even bigger action from advertisers?
I see advertisers possibly doing that on their own. I think that this has become this is a very unusual period that we're living in. So advertisers are, for the first time, really experimenting and thinking about the possibilities and options that are available to them that extend beyond Facebook and traditional social media and performance marketing, which means that I expect to see some of these large companies think about ways to permanently shift their advertising spend from Facebook to other mediums, which is something that I really encourage at this point.
Okay, and as we know, this certainly has hurt Mark Zuckerberg's own pocket, hasn't it? Nandini in Washington, D.C. and Greg in Hong Kong, thank you so much again for joining us on the program.
Thank you.